Is the passion we feel a spark to ignite a future, or is it a fire that could consume us if we don't break free? Do we feel this way because we're meant to be together, or is the intensity just a sign that something's wrong? Every second spent with you feels electric, but are we building something beautiful or just playing with fire? How do you know when the spark between you and someone is love or just a toxic pattern of obsession? When the chemistry is this strong, is it love, or are we both just addicted to the chaos we create? What if the passion between us isn't about love? It's about two souls trapped in a toxic dance they can't escape. Can passion truly be the foundation of love? Or are we just falling for the chaos we can't seem to resist? Every time we touch, I wonder, are we creating something beautiful? Or are we just too caught in the whirlwind to see the truth? What happens when the line between love and toxicity becomes impossible to define, and every move you make feels like a risk? How do you tell when the chemistry is something beautiful or when it's just toxic energy pulling you under? Every moment with you feels like I'm walking a razor's edge. Am I in love, or am I just addicted to the chaos? Is the passion between us what dreams are made of, or is it a trap we're both too afraid to break free from? The fire between us burns so hot, but what if it's too strong for us to control, and we're both going to get burned? Are we two souls meant to be together, or are we simply caught in the grip of something we can't control? When the passion is this fierce, can we really tell if it's love, or are we both just trapped in a toxic cycle? Can we really trust the intensity of our connection, or are we simply lost in a storm of emotions that's keeping us from seeing clearly? Every second with you feels like a dream, but what if it's a dream that's slowly turning into a nightmare? Are we in the midst of a love story, or are we just two people trapped in a toxic cycle of passion and pain? Is this the connection we've always wanted, or is it simply the illusion of love, masking the toxicity beneath? With every touch, we're drawn deeper. Are we falling in love or sinking into something we can't escape? The intensity of our chemistry feels like magic, but is it real, or is it just a mirage pulling us into the unknown? How do you know when passion becomes a poison instead of a cure? Are we living a dream or a nightmare? Every time we embrace, it feels like the world falls away. But is it the peace of love or the calm before the storm? Can we truly know if we're in love, or are we just caught in the fire, too afraid to step back and see the truth? Every glance, every whisper, it's like we're creating a world of our own. But are we building a future or digging a grave? What if this isn't love? What if it's just two people feeding off each other's wounds? too afraid to let go. The tension between us feels like it could explode any second. Are we in love, or are we just playing with fire? What if the heat between us isn't passion? It's just the burning remnants of our past mistakes holding us captive. With every kiss, I feel the pull between us. But is it love, or just an addiction we can't break free from? Are we creating something beautiful, or are we just two souls stuck in a dance they can't escape? The passion we share feels so real, but could it be the very thing that's tearing us apart, bit by bit? What if the connection between us isn't love, but a toxic web we've woven so tightly we can't find a way out? Is this chemistry a blessing, or is it a storm that's about to destroy everything we've built? Every time we touch, it feels like we're on the edge of something great. But are we really on the edge of love or disaster? Could it be that the intensity we feel is the very thing that's poisoning our hearts, making us believe in a love that doesn't exist? Are we just two people bound by a dangerous obsession, trapped in a loop of emotions we can't control? Is this love, or is it just a dangerous game we're playing with each other's hearts? Every heated glance makes my heart race, but is that feeling something real, or just a dangerous illusion? Are we meant to be together, or is this connection a deadly addiction that'll leave us both broken in the end? The pull between us is undeniable, but could that pull be the very thing that's holding us captive in a toxic embrace? Every kiss feels like fire, but is that fire warming us or burning us alive from the inside out? What if everything we feel is just a lie we've told ourselves, convincing ourselves that we're in love when it's just chaos? The passion we share is consuming, but is it love, or is it a storm we've invited into our hearts? Is this love, or a dangerous game we're playing with fire, where every touch feels like an explosion and every word a weapon? What if the chemistry between us isn't love, but a toxic dance that's keeping us locked in a never-ending cycle of pleasure and pain? Do we feel so deeply because we're meant to be? Or is this passion simply a mask for something darker beneath the surface? Every moment with you feels electric, but is that spark igniting something beautiful, or something we can't control? What happens when the line between love and toxicity becomes blurred, and you can't tell if it's passion driving you or something more dangerous? Are we in love, or are we just caught in the chaos of a relationship that's too intense to survive? I can't tell if this is a fire that'll light up our world or a flame that'll burn everything down. When the connection is this strong, how do you know if it's a gift or a curse pulling us deeper into a whirlwind of emotions? The chemistry between us is undeniable, but is it a bond we're meant to celebrate, or a storm waiting to tear us apart? Every touch, every kiss, it's like we're addicted to the thrill, but at what cost? Could it be that what we're calling love is really just a toxic obsession, keeping us chained to each other? When our hearts race in sync, is it because we're perfect for each other, or because we're feeding off the chaos we've created? The more we dive into this, the harder it becomes to see where the passion ends and the toxicity begins. Is this passion, or are we simply intoxicated by the drama we've created between us? Every heated glance, every intense touch, are we really in love, or are we just addicted to the thrill of the chaos we've stirred? What happens when the connection is so magnetic you can't tell if it's love pulling you in or something darker, something destructive? We ignite each other's world, but is that fire something we should embrace, or something that will burn us both? Is the intensity of what we feel between us proof of real love, or are we spiraling into something we can't escape? When the passion feels too strong to resist, is it love, or just a toxic pattern repeating over and over again? Are we chasing a dream together, or are we just two people caught in a toxic web we can't escape? Every time we touch, it feels like the world shifts. But is that magic? Or is it a dangerous game we're playing with fire? Is this chemistry truly beautiful? Or are we just two souls in turmoil, desperately clinging to the storm inside us? What if the intensity of our connection isn't love? It's just the toxic energy pulling us closer until we can't break free. When we look at each other, it feels like everything is in perfect harmony. But is it really love, or are we just deceiving ourselves? Every moment with you is electric, but is it sparking a bond or setting off a chain reaction of pain and regret? Is our passion what we've always dreamed of, or is it something darker, something that might destroy everything we have? Are we in a toxic spiral of passion, or have we simply found something so intense it's impossible to let go of? In the rush of emotions, do we really see each other, or are we just drowning in the intensity of a connection that might not be healthy? When the highs are this high, do the lows become unbearable? Is it worth the risk? Can something that feels so right actually be so wrong? Is our chemistry too powerful to be good for us? Every look, every touch, it's like we're feeding off each other's energy. But is that energy lifting us up or pulling us down? The more we're pulled together, the harder it becomes to tell if we're in love or simply addicted to the chaos we've created. Is this the kind of love we've always dreamed of? Or are we just dancing dangerously on the edge of destruction? Is this chemistry love, Or is it just the fuel to a fire that might burn us both? Every time I think I understand us, I realize I'm still lost in the storm of feelings that never seem to settle. Can we ever tell the difference between passion and obsession when both make us feel alive? Are we truly meant to be together, or are we just two people stuck in the toxicity of a bond we can't break? What if our connection isn't something magical? It's just the residue of past hurts and broken promises feeding off our fears. The chemistry between us might feel like a gift, but could it be the trap we never saw coming? How do you tell the difference between intense love and something that's pulling you into the darkness? Is the attraction between us something to cherish, or is it a destructive force we're blind to? When we're this deep in it, it's hard to tell if we're feeding each other's souls or feeding our own demons.